and then I'll do my best to be quick with a little bit of a recap here. So, if you guys were able to catch pretty much every trade from our main names set up today, like went 3 for 3 on the close watch list. So, as I always tell you guys, the same pre-market plan that I'm giving you, I'm taking the exact same trades. Maybe the difference is, I don't care about winning or losing a trade as long as it's a high probability shot, which typically majority of my trades are, and I know how to manage risk once I'm in it. That's all that matters. So don't hesitate. Take your shot. Trust your key level. Your key level is your protection. That is your stop loss. That's why you want to take trades off of key levels, because key levels are the ones that tell you if your thesis is valid or invalidated. So hope that helps. But today was a very solid day. So going into tomorrow, so I'm actually kind of happy that we ended up closing red here on the day on SPY. You can see we actually pushed into this pre-market high. So we know going into tomorrow, there's some strong sellers sitting up here. Very strong sellers. We ended up pushing into this pre-market high on the dot, a double top actually, and then just got slapped in the face. Getting back under the, sorry, that would be here, back under the previous day high. So that was solid. So kind of happy to actually see a little bit of a pullback here in the market. Going into tomorrow, we'll see what happens. It could be an inside bar day. If we fall under the PDL, you can expect some pullbacks here on the market. Expect a pullback here to 724.85. Market's very bullish. Market's very strong. This is a key level here. So remember, the trend is your friend and the dip is your best friend. So who knows? Going into the weekend, if you're looking for a swing trade on SPY, I mean, Qs is so strong, you can pretty much swing trade that name with a blindfold on. Like I took a swing trade on Qs maybe 2 weeks ago and got basically 100% return on that. So you want to buy the dip, right? Trend is your friend, the dip is your best friend. So we'll see what happens here. If we get over the PDH, we can expect a move higher. If we get under the PDL, we can expect a little bit of a gap fill and a pullback to this level here. See if buyers can step up here. If we fall under that, we can definitely see some downside. There's no doubt about that. And then, of course, if it's just an inside bar day, really not expecting too much there on SPY. So that's the game plan on SPY. Qs, very strong here on Qs. Solid day. Solid day here on Qs. I mean, that was just textbook, bro. If you guys were able to catch this, and I mean, that was just a beautiful pullback long off the previous day high. Look at that. Pullback long, previous day high. This would have been a bit of an aggressive entry. I ended up taking my trade on Tesla instead, but I almost took this. I know the reclaim entry, beautiful. I was looking for the reclaim. I was going to take this with a 0 actually, just because it's been a fairly slow week. Bit aggressive entry. I was going to have a hard stop, and it ended up playing out. Right, you got that reclaim entry. We know this. That's the dip, and that was just a beautiful shot. I mean, pullback long, previous day high. We're in a trending market. We're not trying to look for shorts here. There's nothing that's saying short this market right now. So same thing here on the Qs going into tomorrow. If you get over the PDH, you can expect a move higher. If you get under the PDL, you can expect a pullback here. You can see here definitely some gaps to fill. So if we fall under the PDL, maybe we can expect a pullback to yesterday's lows. We won't know until we know. Every day we're just moving higher. I mean, this market is trending hard right now. So I will be cautious. If it's an inside bar day, I really won't expect too much. So we'll see what sets up there. As for Tesla, so if you guys caught this, this is right off the pre-market plan. This was a beautiful trade, and I was actually stuck in between Tesla, NVIDIA, and Palantir. All these names were setting up. NVIDIA and Palantir set up pretty much simultaneously. I was a little overwhelmed at market open because those were my main 3 watches. So as I always say, these are my favorite setups, right? You always hear me say the bigger the displacement, the better. When you get a big breakout like this, our beginner traders are going to see this in FOMO. They're going to think they missed a move. This was beautiful, right off our key level 408, right off the pre-market plan. Break, retest. And this is a great, time to like explain. You only need, 1 or 2 solid trades a week to make your entire month. And making the assumption that if you only trade off a higher time frame key levels, you're only going to have a handful of trades a week anyway. You know what I mean? If you're trading every day off pre-market high and pre-market low and 5-minute RRPs and previous day high and lows, then you're basically going to have a setup every single day. So you got to ask yourself, quality over quantity, right? So today was a great example of that. This was as easy as it got. Ended up getting that breakout, took my entry here, 0 down close candles on the 1-minute time frame, all the way pushed up into this high day. That was solid. I cut like 50% of my position here, and then I cut it on this pop. Those contracts moved very well. So solid day here on Tesla. And textbook, right? Break, retest, key level, push up into the high day. The cool thing about this, this key level did its job. It's 408. I mean, you have 3 opportunities here. 3 opportunities here to go long. I want to use this to give a little example here on, as I always say, the deeper the pullback, the better. But you have to remember, when you go long or you're going short off of your key levels, you're risking off your key levels. So if you don't get a deep enough pullback, then what do? You scale down, right? You scale down. And that way, even if you get stopped out, it's not a big loss. So you just have to scale or size accordingly based on your entry point. But the point being is, it doesn't matter if you go long here. This key level, that invalidates your thesis. As long as you're above that, your thesis is correct. So you have 3 solid chances here today to catch a trade here within the first 2 hours actually on Tesla. You know, you got to push here from 408 up to 411. You know, we're talking about Tesla here. This name moves great on the underline, especially if you play tomorrow's expiration. This is easily, you know, a 10, 15, 20% trade. There's no doubt from 408 to 411. So just want to break that down on what occurred today on Tesla, what we ended up taking off the pre-market plan. So fairly easy going into tomorrow. Based on how this daily candle closed, I don't really care to go short off of 408.20. So fairly simple tomorrow. Break and retest over 417.45. You're starting to see a little bit of a V-shaped recovery here on Tesla. We've already had this downtrend trend line break. So this looks good, right? We got that pop, we got that dip buy, and now we're moving higher. So this is a weekly level, and you're over the previous day high. That's a great confluence for me. Very nice RR here. There's nothing in this way up into 435.90. That's an A plus trade. That is an A plus trade. So this is going to be my main focus. Break and retest 417.45 on Tesla. You can see very strong so far this week. Very, very strong. So if you get that tomorrow, I would I'll be a little careful, right? Depends on, you know, if you're playing with zeros. You can always play 1 day expiration, which would be Monday. Depends on how you want to play it. But this is an A plus shot, right? Previous day high, weekly level, that looks good. That's the only trade I like tomorrow on Tesla. I'm not really looking to short this name off of this key level or play a pullback long off of this. The higher probability shot is over 417 because, like I said, it's no longer an inside bar day, which means price is likely to continue higher. And when you look at Tesla so far this week, what is this? Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So started off a little flat here. We did defend 382.80 down here fairly well. Bar stepped up defending this, and now we're making our way up. So this is a nice continuation play. Look at that. This is a nice trend continuation play. We get over 417.45. Tesla's gone. I would recommend playing next week's contracts. You know, it's your money, do what you want, but if you can turn this into a swing trade, leave some runners, that'd be a very solid trade on Tesla. Nvidia. So almost took this trade before Tesla. This was right off the plan, right? Pullback long, 206.80. Beautiful on the dot. You didn't get one candle closure on the 1 minute time frame under this. You had a perfect dip and rip. That was beautiful. We knew this, right? Yesterday, what did we do? We got the breakout. We got the breakout of our key level. So what were we looking for? We were looking for the pullback long. This is on the daily time frame, break, retest. So today, very solid. You ended up getting this push or pullback off of 206.80. Basically caught the bottom if you did, and just had a nice push all the way up into 214.20. This was a easy, you know, no-brainer risk to reward trade. You're risking that. You manage your trade correctly. You made that. So solid here. Key level to key level within the first 30 minutes of market open. We went from 206.80 and ripped through 211 and made highs at 214.20. So beautiful there on Nvidia. Going into tomorrow, the only thing I really like here is 211.35. You can see we barely got it over, but the candle closed right above our key level. 211.35, we closed at 211.50. But you can see we see the damage body tells the story, so we closed right under it. So I'm still looking for this. Break and retest over 211, that's an all-time highs play. That is an all-time highs play. Let's say the market wants to stay heavy, right? You can go into the market with a bias, but you don't want to marry a bias. This, right, this 206.80 today also proved this is a very strong key level of support. If the market wants to pull back and we stay heavy and Nvidia wants to follow the market, I like this. Break and retest under 406.80, playing the pullback. Remember, we still need to retest this. This is unmitigated, this 203. So this is very valid, right, if we haven't made all-time highs yet. And we're also getting under the previous day low. So this is very simple. Just letting my trade come to me. Long over that, short under that. So that's the game plan there tomorrow on Nvidia. Keep an eye out on that 211.35. Amazon, really nothing here for me. Honestly, haven't even looked at this name. I would be cautious. You can see we're starting to consolidate up here. Sellers are definitely stepping in near this all-time high. There's just no more key levels. So you would kind of want this to consolidate a little bit so it can create some key levels. But to each your own. As for me, really nothing here on Amazon that I like. So I'm pretty much hands off. You can look for a break and retest over all-time highs if you want. You can see kind of, 3 days? Barely today we got that break under, almost 3 days in a row of just inside bar days. So just consolidated, which is normal, right? We've already made all-time highs. So nothing there for me on Amazon. Microsoft. So again, just one of these names where you just kind of let your trades come to you. I broke this down, right? I just don't like what Microsoft is doing on the daily. You can look at this and it's really not doing much. Not doing much. Just consolidating. It's going from channel to channel. We've already broke this down. So what do I like tomorrow? I mean, today, you can see our 427.20 did its job. All we got to do is look left. We see there's a key resistance level. It pushed up into it today. Seller stepped in and slapped this thing in the face. We actually ended up gapping above 416.45 today. So what are you looking for? Well, letting your trade come to you. Longs over 227.20, you're over the previous day high. Shorts under 416.45, you're under the previous day low. So you're just letting your trade come to you. But I'll be cautious. You can see we're just ranging, right? We're not really doing anything. Microsoft is literally consolidated all week. Tomorrow it's Friday. So you can see so far this week, we haven't done anything. Today was like the biggest thing we've done, and that's because, we ended up just gapping up today. So just be cautious. If you want longs, 427.20. If you really want to play this and you want shorts, under 416.45. Those are two of the higher probability plays on this name. Other than that, I would say if you really just want to wait for a short on Microsoft, it's going to be under 404.85. Because now you're just breaking outside of this range. You're breaking outside of both channels. There's nothing in this way to the downside. Clear shot towards 392.30. Palantir, right off the pre-market plan. I love this coming into today. Why? I said, hey, if you get over a break and retest over 136.15, you're also over the previous day high. You're getting at the bottom of the range before it goes to the top of the range. If we get over that, that means that's a good indicator that price wants to move higher. And you can see here at market open, beautiful break retest over 136.15, and you ended up getting that solid push into new highs, into the high day, and then it made new highs, pulled back, and you can see we ended up just pushing all the way up to 140.95. Right off the key level. So beautiful RR there. If you were able to catch that, kudos to you. As for Palantir going into tomorrow, kind of don't like it now. Really nothing here I like. Today was like an objective play, right? We were under our key level, so if we broke above it, we're above the previous day high and our key level. That's a good confluence. That price is going to continue higher. But now, based on where it's sitting, I don't like it. You can see it's still, I mean, this is a no trade zone for a reason. You're just sitting in a channel in here. You can look for a range break, a break and retest under 136.15, but it's an inside bar day on a name that's ranging. If you go here on the weekly, when in doubt, zoom out, you can see Palantir is really not doing much. It's really not doing much at all. We definitely all see this bull flag setting up here on the weekly time frame. I've been waiting for this 148.05 range break. That's going to be something I'm looking for in the future. But until then, just really not doing much. You can see it's just ranging. Pretty much every week has been an inside bar week. Nothing going on. So, but when you look at it on the weekly time frame, you can see how strong of a support level this 136.15 is. So, you know, a break and retest under that, if it actually holds, you got a clear shot towards 125.40 on Palantir. So to each your own. As for me, really nothing that I like on this name going into tomorrow, so I'm most likely going to be hands off, and it's a 0 DTE tomorrow, so keep that in mind. Apple, off the pre-market plan. I said, hey, if you like Apple tomorrow and you really want to trade it, just take a break and retest over the previous day all-time highs, and that's exactly what you got. You didn't get a single candle closure under this. You got a break and retest over all-time highs, and we made new highs. So, ugly name, very ugly on Apple. I mean, this was the nastiest climb I've seen to all-time highs, but it got there. Doesn't matter how it got there, it got there. So really nothing for me on Apple that I like going into tomorrow. I don't really care to touch the name. So to each your own. Just play off your key levels. If you really want to trade Apple going into tomorrow, I would still keep, you know, this previous all-time high. I would just change that to previous all-time highs. You can look for a long over that, targeting new highs, or I would just wait for a pullback to 280. I would just wait for that, for a dip buy. Zoom out here. Yeah, I would just wait for like a dip buy at 280.40. To each your own. But to me, Apple, it just looks nasty. I really don't care to trade this name just based on how it looks right now. I will most likely treat, you know, 288 and 280.40 as a no trade zone, because now you see we're kind of just sitting sideways in here. So I would treat that as a no trade zone. So what do you want to see? This channel turn into support. So your best shot, just like it was today, is a long over 288, turning this channel into support, targeting the previous day high, which is now all-time highs. AMD, I probably won't be touching this name for a while. There's just nothing here. There's nothing here, at least for me. Let's go here on the daily. I mean, look at that. There's no key levels. This thing is just on the moon right now. We're just waiting for it to come back to Earth. So nothing here. Of course, right, you can definitely take, you know, your shot off the PDL and the PDH, you know, looking for either that gap fill to the downside or looking for the continuation to the upside. To each their own. As I always say, there's no right or wrong way to trade. But as for me, when I look at this chart and when I look at AMD on where it's sitting, nothing screams high probability to me. So I'm pretty much hands off here. As I always say, know your identity as a trader. I am not a gap fill reversal trader. This name is very bullish. It is very strong. So based on where it's sitting, I do not care to go short on this name. So other than that, the main two focus, which has really been all week, is Tesla and NVIDIA going into tomorrow. Tesla over 417.45 is going to be my main watch. And then NVIDIA, break and retest or pullback long off of 211.35 or a short under 206.80. Less is more. So I'm only really going to be focused on these main two names going into tomorrow. Hope this helps, and I will see you guys next week. Yeah, tomorrow's Friday. So I will see you guys next week.